There comes a time in the life of every child when they learn about sex. It is a well-known fact that many parents dread having the talk or avoid it altogether because sex can be uncomfortable to talk about and because parents feel ill-equipped to talk about it. However, it is a golden opportunity to set the stage for your child to have a healthy view of sexual relationships and a chance to foster open communication with your child. And believe it or not, it can be fun and quite memorable. My goal during this parenting series has been to equip you with some proactive steps you can take to help protect your child from exploitation by talking early, openly, and often. Talking to your kids about sex, puberty, and romantic relationships is no exception. Number one, talk early. From day one, there are a couple of important things you can do to lay the groundwork for your child to have a healthy view of sexuality. First of all, use proper terminology. It might feel awkward to you at first, but use the words penis, vagina, bottom, and breasts when you refer to private parts. Doing this from an early age not only gives your child correct terminology, but it sets the stage for talking about sex without embarrassment or shame. The second thing is to answer your child's questions as they come up with just enough information to satisfy their curiosity, or as is appropriate for their age. You want to answer honestly, but also give as much information as is appropriate for their age. If your 5-year-old is asking where babies come from, for example, simply reply that they come from inside of mommy's tummy. If they ask how the baby got there, my answer was that God put the baby in there. It helps to think through your answers before they ask. Number two, talk openly. The time will come to have the famous talk where you explain the mechanics of intercourse. How do you know when to have the talk? In my experience, you'll know it's time either based on the questions that your kids are asking, based on their physical development, like when they're about to start puberty, or based on their age. With my kids, my oldest child reached an age where we felt like there was a chance he could hear about sex from his peers. He was 10 and my middle child was 8, so we decided to tell them at the same time. My oldest is a late bloomer, however, so if he had started puberty earlier, we probably would have had the talk with him sooner. If in doubt about timing, I would recommend erring on the side of doing it early so they hear it from you first. I think it's really helpful to think about the talk in 3 stages, meaning that you have an information session or a sit-down conversation with your child 3 different times. The first is to explain the mechanics of intercourse, male and female reproductive anatomy, how the anatomy fit together to have intercourse, and what is going on internally that creates a baby. This talk is also an important opportunity to set the stage for healthy relationships by explaining that sex is an expression of love that is enjoyed by both partners, etc. It also is an important opportunity to incorporate your moral values related to sex, explaining under what conditions you believe it is healthy for people to have sex. The second talk is about puberty, where you explain the changes that are happening in your child's body. I think it's also very valuable to educate your child at this point about the changes in the opposite sex so they know what's going on with their body changes as well. Finally, the third talk is for teens, where you talk about romantic relationships, dating, birth control, and other older kid topics. So let's talk about resources. These 3 talks are definitely ones where I would recommend using a book because there's so much information to cover and because visual aids are very helpful. Having these talks obviously requires some planning ahead, so start researching resources before you actually need them so you're prepared when the time comes. Just a few reminders from the first parenting session about resources. Whatever book you choose, read it first to make sure the content is age appropriate and that it fits your values. Also, when you find a good book, buy it so your child can read it more than once and can use it as a reference. Whatever you choose, don't just hand them the book and miss the opportunity for conversation. You can either talk about it in a structured format by reading chapters of the book together or read separately and then discuss. Some families have the male talk to the boys and female talk to the girls. I recommend having a family discussion, of course, just with the kids who are old enough. If you are divorced, consider talking together or at least read the same material so you're on the same page with your child. So here are my favorite resources. 1, for the initial talk you have with your child about sex, I recommend the What's Happening to My Body book for boys and the What's Happening to My Body book for girls by Linda Madras. There's obviously a book for boys, which is this one, and then there's a separate pink book for girls. At the time of the first talk, your child won't be ready for most of the information in this book. So read chapter 1 together rather than handing them the full book. When you're ready for the third talk later on, this book is quite thorough, which I think is a good thing. In fact, this is the book that my parents gave me when I was a teen, and I was very grateful for the information in it. You could either pick and choose chapters to read together as your child is ready, or if you feel like they're ready for the whole ball of wax, you can hand over the whole book. For the second talk on puberty, I recommend Ready, Set, Grow for girls and On Your Mark, Get Set, Grow for boys, both also by Linda Madras. I picked up the book for girls, and it covers everything from outward and inward body changes to all they need to know about getting their period. In my opinion, it is safe to hand this book over to your preteen. Aside from being very informative, I like Linda Madras's books because they do not seem to have a bias. She teaches the facts and generally presents both sides of issues, which leaves it up to the parent to add their own morals and values to the conversation. If you are wondering, the topic of abortion is completely left out of this book, and only 2 pages are devoted to a short discussion about birth control. Number 3, if you are looking for a faith-based resource, check out the series by Lou Gilkerson. The series includes 3 books, and in order, the books cover the 3 main talks that I recommended to you earlier. Book number 1 is called The Talk, 7 Lessons to Introduce Your Child to Biblical Sexuality, which is for ages 6 through 10. Book 2 is called Changes, 7 Biblical Lessons to Make Sense of Puberty, which is for ages 8 through 12. Book 3 is called Relationships, 11 Lessons to Give Kids a Greater Understanding of Biblical Sexuality, which is for ages 11 through 14. The strength of these books is that they do cover the basic information and then go more in depth on the faith component. However, I would recommend using them in tandem with Linda Madras's books to give your child more detailed information. The third point is talk with your children often. I might sound like a broken record at this point, but take advantage of those teachable moments. There are so many teachable moments all around us when it comes to sex. Because our culture is over-sexualized, it is a constant topic in the news and other media. And be ready for your child to ask questions. Remember, you want to be their source of information. And do your best to stay calm no matter what their questions are to help keep that line of communication open. As we wrap up, here are some action steps for this week. Number 1, which of the 3 talks applies to your child's age and stage of development? If you have already had conversations up through this point at that age and stage, way to go. If not, identify which ones you need to catch up on and make a plan to do it. Number 2, again, according to your child's age and stage of development, look ahead and make a plan for any talks that you need to do in the coming months or even a year from now. It's never too early to start making a plan and to start identifying and reviewing resources that you want to use. Number 3, having these talks might be especially difficult based on you or your child having a history of abuse, or you may have to have the talk earlier than is ideal if your child is exposed to something that was developmentally inappropriate. There may also be developmental considerations that limit your child's intellectual capacity to understand the information. If any of these situations apply to you, reach out to family, a friend, or a professional to help you. Last, this topic was a big one. Remember to just take one baby step this week. You can do it.